And it's the Screen Team. Welcome back to our Robin Williams special here on Today's Talk 930 KWOC. In each segment, we're having different Screen Teamers come in and tell their memories of the great Robin Williams. And with us right now is Kyle and Matt. Guys, thank you for being on the Robin Williams show. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having us.
It's my honor, man.
We lost Robin Williams a couple weeks ago, and I want to kind of get your guys' take on Robin Williams. What are some of your earliest memories of Robin Williams, Kyle?
The first thing I think of is, believe it or not, Mork and Mindy. You know,
So, hold on a second, man. You weren't even alive when Mork and Mindy came out.
Reruns.
Yeah, amen to
Really?
that.
Me too.
Really?
Yeah, definitely.
Nanu.
It was hilarious.
Look at you guys.
No, it was absolutely hilarious. Yeah, you know, once I finally got cable, I was able to enjoy a show like that.
Yeah.
And I thought the guy was really funny. Didn't know he had done any movies. And then I finally got to see Hook.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first movie of his I saw. And already loving the movie Peter Pan got me into this.
Yeah.
I love the way that movie was like written. You know, it's the Lost Boys, you know, Dustin Hoffman and Bob Hoskins, who we also lost this year too.
I know.
Which is just crazy. So we lost Peter Pan and Shmi all in one year. But then you also have movies like Toys and Jumanji, and then
I forgot about Toys.
Mrs. Doubtfire. Just there were very few movies of his that made me scratch my head, but it's one of the most entertaining men that we've had the privilege of seeing.
Yeah.
It's just a shame.
Matt, what are some of your fondest memories of Robin Williams?
Aladdin was the first one for me. Like Kyle, Mork and Mindy was another one. Aladdin was such a great film. They speculation was that they were originally going to nominate it for best script, best adaptation, and then they found out that most of Robin Williams' lines were actually ad-lib.
It's amazing.
Just such a credit to this guy.
Yeah.
And his phenomenal comedic timing, his great impressions, how he could transition from one character to the next was just flawless. And it was something I don't think I'd seen anything like it before him. He's so copied, but nobody could ever duplicate what he did. He had such a charm and a warmth to him, even whenever he was in a more adult film like Good Morning Vietnam or Good Will Hunting or something like that. He could portray seriousness with such a wonderful sense of humor as well.
Yeah.
And Aladdin was also one of those films. I think Chuck Jones, who was one of the principal animators and writers for Looney Tunes, and said that was the best animated film he'd seen in years. And
when he says that, I mean,
it means something.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, and that came out around the era of Beauty and the Beast and Little Mermaid. So, and it's definitely my favorite Disney film as well, and he's definitely a big part in that. As Kyle said, Jumanji was another favorite of mine growing up. Mrs. Doubtfire. He had a lot of great kid films, but man, this guy was a serious actor too. Dead Poet Society, Good Morning Vietnam, like what we're
1 Hour Photo.
1 Hour Photo, Insomnia.
Dead
This
Poet
guy,
Society.
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah. This guy was just phenomenal, and a very captivating presence on screen.
It's amazing too, because when you see Robin Williams, it's like I can pigeonhole you to be the funny guy, but he never went that way.
No.
He could do all sorts of things, and I think that's what truly made him so great. It was just amazing that he could have went and done those same comedies over and over again, but he was like, you know what, I'm gonna try this. And
With great success.
Yeah,
too.
with great
everything.
success. And we're going to do one of his first films that gained him Oscar attention, and that was Good Morning Vietnam. And this is based on a true story, right?
That's correct.
Kind of give us, I guess, the little bit of the rundown of Good Morning Vietnam. Robin Williams is in Vietnam during the war, correct?
That's correct.
And he's a DJ, correct?
Yes, he. I believe he was Air Force, and he was brought in for the military radio to play different songs for them and to be a DJ and to kind of entertain the men during the conflict, the Police Act in Vietnam in the 1960s. He was brought in 1965, and right off the bat, he has a confrontation and just butts heads with one of the main commanding officers there. He and another DJ who's kind of like his Flacky and definitely one of his yes men. They don't like Robin Williams because he's the kind of guy that they don't care for his brand of humor.
Right.
They feel like it's inflammatory. They feel like it's disrespectful and that it defies authority, and they're not about that. So they try they try to get rid of him as many times as they can. They even put him in harm's way, and his kind of like his spirit, it gets the men going. The soldiers love this guy, and because he entertains them and kind of takes them out. It's a nice escape for them during the war.
Yeah.
And because of it's not necessarily shown from the perspective of a soldier per se. Even though he's in the military, it's shown more from like a different perspective of Vietnam, and I think it's much more endearing than most Nam films. Vietnam films tend to be very dark, very bleak, and this one, I feel like there is more of a light at the end of the tunnel with this one, even though I don't want to make it sound like the ending is all a bowl of cherries or anything, but there's definitely a great message, to this film, and with Robin Williams, it was definitely like a kind of like being a part of something bigger than yourself.
I can't remember because I haven't seen this film in so long, but wasn't there like a side story with Robin Williams in this film where didn't he fall in love or something like that?
Yeah, he fell in love with a Vietnamese girl and became friends with her brother to kind of get closer to her. And, you find out that her brother's connected into different things that aren't so great. And it kind of deals with this idea of being friends with the enemy and the isolation that comes with that on both sides. This is also a great breakthrough performance for Forrest Whitaker. It got a lot of attention for Robin Williams, but man, Forrest Whitaker is a great, one of his friends in the film, and they just bounce jokes off each other like it's nothing, man. It's a really, really great film, and terrific cast.
Kyle, do you like this film?
Absolutely loved it. It was the proper breakaway from the typical war-torn movie, especially for the time that Vietnam happened, which was a very
pivotal time,
extremely pivotal, and a lot of radical things were happening at the civil rights movement going on. The hippie movement, I guess you could say, with Woodstock, and just and culture was changing. And when you line this movie up with other war movies like your Saving Private Ryan's or We Were Soldiers or things like that, it is what's needed, because there's some lightheartedness. They're showing that it's not all just violence and despair and everything else. Robin Williams was able to bring some humor, a little bit of irreverence to this. It was like watching, to me, it felt like watching MASH in a way.
Yeah, very much like MASH. This isn't the first film to bring that sense of levity to a war-torn situation.
Yes.
But this had the benefit of Robin Williams' brilliant comedic timing, and that scene where he's talking with all the Vietnam soldiers, he's down on himself, and he doesn't want to go back to being a DJ, and then Forrest Whitaker pulls up next to all these different soldiers and says, "This is the guy, from the radio, I got him right here," and they all start talking to him, and he just ad-libs, I think, the entire scene, and it's just so much fun he's having with the soldiers, and it kind of reinvigorates his sense of purpose in the film.
And this was the first film that Robin Williams got nominated for an Oscar. He was nominated for Best Actor 3 times for this one, also Dead Poets Society and The Fisher King. But he won Best Supporting Actor for Good Will Hunting.
Yep.
So truly, truly great actor. It's Robin Williams. Kyle and Matt, thank you guys for being on this show. We appreciate you. Coming up after the break, we'll have Chelsea and Jake on the show. We're going to review The Birdcage. That's next on Today's Talk 930 KWOC.